Hey guys, well then, today we're going to be continuing on with our phaser tutorial. So first of all, I'm sorry for not uploading recently. I've had to fix my computer, so that's out of the way, thankfully. But today we're going to be focusing on adding enemies and making them move. So first of all, we need to create a variable called enemies. This is basically going to take care of all of our enemies. Next, in our preload function, we need to load in the image of the enemy. So I'm going to make the image key enemy. We've done this before. I assume you have a picture of an enemy in your assets folder. Next, go down in your create function. This time we need to create another group to take care of all of our enemies. So the way we do that is just like we did our bullets, enemies equals game.add.group. So we created a group, and then we need to allow those enemies to be affected by physics. And then body equals true. Oops. Okay, next we need to define what type of physics we want to be affected. Physics body type equals phaser.physics. Okay, it's gonna allow us to use arcade physics functions on our enemy group. Next, we need to create a function called create enemies. We're gonna call it down in our create function as well. Now we need to go down, all the way down, below our fire bullet function, and create a new function, which we're gonna call create enemies. So this function is basically just gonna place our enemies and make sure they're all moving. So first of all, we need a for loop, which is gonna place our enemies across the screen. So the way we do that is across the y-axis we want four enemies. So create an enemy every time until y is equal to 4. That's basically what that means. And to make sure it's a square, we're gonna do the x-axis inside the y-axis, which is, you don't really need to know the in-depth of it, but it's pretty simple to get. Okay, so once we did the x-axis, we're gonna create a new variable called enemy, which is gonna be our individual enemy. Enemy is just basically gonna be enemies.create, and now we need to space them. So the x-axis times 48, that's gonna space 48 pixels in between each enemy. And then the image key, which is enemy, has to be the same as up in the preload function. Next, we need to set up the anchor point of the enemy to make sure we position them correctly. Set to 0.5, so that's the middle. Okay, now we place them, but we need to make sure we position the enemy group in the middle of the map instead of having it somewhere else. So enemy.x equals 100, let's say, and enemy.y, actually no, it has to be enemies because we're taking care of all of them instead of just one. .y equals 50, there we go. Okay, now we need to make a tween to allow our enemies to move across the map. So the way we do that is game.add.tween enemies, which is gonna affect the enemies. .2, I'm gonna tween the enemies from x to 100, 2000 speed, and then the type of tween. .linear. This is the most basic tween you can do, which is a linear, which is no special effects or speed and thingies. You can do really cool things, such as repeat the tweens and do slow and fast paced bits, but we don't need that right now. So that's all you really need to know about tweens. They're pretty complicated. You might want to read more on them, but we're good for now. So now we just need to edit that tween. So every time the tween resets, we need to descend our enemies. So now we need to create the descend function, which is pretty simple. I'll go down below here, function descend, and now we just need to make our enemies go down by 10. Okay, so if we go into the game now,